हरि ओम। ओम ओम ओम। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे नमः। गुरवे नमः। I want to welcome all of you for the second part of Shat Darshanats from your syllabus. Now we will see in this part the Yoga Darshan and Sankhya Darshan little bit in detail. Not so much detail, but little bit more points compared to other darshanas, other astic darshanas. We discuss only 2-3 points from that darshanas. From those darshanas, we discuss 2-3 points. Now I will discuss here little bit more information about this Yoga Darshan and Sankhya Darshan. So this 15 number PPT, you know all these things. Just as a portion for this Darshan class, I have mentioned all these 5 yamas here. In short, you can remember it. Then we will proceed to the next slide. I will read only. You know all these things. Ahimsa, that is non-harming, non-violence. Satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-robbing. Brahmacharya, celibacy. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. You know all these things. So I am not taking your time. Now the next PPT in 16 number, it is explained the niyam, 5 niyamas. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhan. You know all these things. Shaucha means purity or cleanliness, physical or mental. Santosha is contentment. You must feel or you should satisfied in your life. In any matter or anything, you get satisfied. Do your work with this satisfaction. Then tapa, austerities or penances. Swadhyaya is self-study. Ishvara pranidhan is surrender to Ishwar. Now, in short, what is meant by asana or what is explained by Patanjali, the meaning of asana. Steady and comfortable position is the first point explained by Patanjali. Sthira Sukham Asanam. Then full relaxation, Prayatna Shaithilya, and joining and surrendering to the Almighty. That is Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatti Bhyam. Ananta Samapatti, surrendering yourself to the God or Almighty. Then in pranayam, some points are explained by Patanjali. Stretch and expand the pran. That is your inhalation and exhalation. With the help of brain, deliberately, you can control your inhalation and exhalation, breaking the space of normal inhalation and exhalation. That is called expanding and stretching like that. Making it longer and subtle. That this point is also very important, explained by Patanjali. Now, what is pratyahar? Withdrawal of sense organs from their preoccupation with their respective sense object. Don't stick to your attractions. Ask your all organs, the knowledge senses, ask them not to run behind the attractions. Try to control them. You know this pratyahar also. And dharana, that is concentration, confining our mind to one region or object. Try to confine it, try to concentrate at one point or one object. Now the dhyan, meditation. While practicing dharana, the yogi experience only one object among different objects in that dharana object. In dharana object is one before you, but in dharana you can watch different aspects of that one object. And in dhyan, automatically, while practicing dharana, while practicing focusing on 4, 5 or other aspects in that object, you started concentrating on one aspect of that. Any object is having 4, 5 aspects of that. Automatically, you can concentrate on one of the aspect of that object. That is called dhyan. And what is samadhi? Spiritual absorption. While practicing meditation means joining yourself to one aspect among that object. This is the meditative state. Then at that time, yogi feel the self nature is not there. He slowly start forgetting himself, and he is giving importance to that aspect which he has joined in meditation state. He is trying, not deliberately, but automatically he joined to that object or one aspect of that object, and he merge himself in that. That is called absorption, means you are totally joined and you are dissolving with that object or that aspect which you have chosen, not deliberately chosen. It will be done automatically, and you will straightway mix with that totally. You forget your existence, and total mixing is there with that aspect, one aspect of that object. This is called samadhi. You forget your existence, and only that aspect will shines before you, or that object is before you. You feel these are the feelings of that object or aspect. You forget yours. Now with this eightfold yoga of Patanjali, this explanation is enough for the yoga darshan to you. And now I will explain you in short the Sankhya darshan. What is Samkhya or Sankhya? Both the words are correct. It is number 6 darshan. The numbers are not given in that way. To just discuss about these darshanas one by one, this number is given there. You can change the order of these darshanas. For our convenience, I have given these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Order of these darshanas is little bit different. Written by Kapil Muni in Christ 150. This Sankhya darshan, they don't believe in Ishwar, but still it is Astik darshan. because they believe in Vedas, the most ancient books of Indian literature, Vedas. They believe in Vedas. Meaning of Sankhya word. What is Sankhya? Sankhya is number, or Sankhya is number. You can pronounce this Sankhya word. Spelling is same, but you can pronounce this in two ways. You can call it Sankhya, or this Sankhya is number. You can call it Sankhya is number. Then Sankhya is intelligence or right knowledge also. Sankhya is intelligence or right knowledge also. Sankhya word is not merely connected to number. It is related to intelligence and the true knowledge of the world. In Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Marga is called Jnana Marga, Jnana Marga. That is knowledge. Sankhya means knowledge. Sankhya Marga is knowledge path. Marga is path. Bhagavad Gita, it is explained that if you want to get knowledge, the word is used for that Sankhya Marga. And in Mahabharata, another greatest book in Indian philosophy, Parisankhyan word is quoted. So, Parisankhyan, Sankhya is related to knowledge and number. These are the two meanings of Sankhya. Main philosophy of this Sankhya Darshan is, it is dualistic philosophy. Two metaphysical principles, Purush and Prakriti. This is the base of this Sankhya Darshan. They wrote their every principle related to this Purush and Prakriti. Philosophical meaning of Prakriti and Purush is different. It is not merely male and female. We will discuss about the meaning of this Prakriti and Purush later here. So both Purush and Prakriti are eternal and dependent on each other. They may be separate, but still they are dependent on each other. Both way you can explain. They are separate principles, but still they are dependent on each other. Or you can say they are independent, like that you can explain. Both are correct. Now, what is the difference between these two principles? Purush is principle of consciousness or pure consciousness or basic energy, that is soul. Everybody is having this basic energy. That's why we are alive. That's why we are alive. Basic energy is there in everybody. Not only human, if you concern human life, all the earthen life, that is all the trees and existing things on this earth, they are having some basic energy. That's why we can use those energies or those things for our daily life, like that. So everything is having basic energy, that is called Purush. And Prakriti is the principle of matter related to this earthen life. Everything existing on this earth is called Prakriti. And in Prakriti, if this soul is existing, then that thing is alive. If no Purush, means no soul or no basic energy in anything, that is called dead. So Prakriti, which thing you can see in the Prakriti? For example, some chairs are with you. You can use that chair, but If the chair is broken, you can't use it. So the basic energy has gone from that chair. Why this chair is useful for you? You must sit on that. That chair should be uh, at that state that you can use it. If it is broken, you can't use it. So basic energy should be there. That is called Purush, and the outlook of that chair or anything. Now I will give you another example. We are using cars or scooters or any type of vehicle we are using. So what is the Prakriti part of that vehicle? The body and the chassis of that uh, vehicle is called Prakriti, and petrol is Purush in that. If petrol is not there, you can't run or you can't drive those vehicles. So you need petrol. Petrol is basic energy for that vehicle. So the body of that car or scooter or rickshaw or bus, whatever is there, that is called Prakriti. And the petrol is Purush inside that. Then Purush is Chetan, Nirguna and Nishkriya. Three words are very important. Chetan means Chaitanya means Chetan word. I will explain you with the help of Chaitanya, same word. So Chaitanya is energization of energy. Purush is full with energy. That energized energy, that is called Chaitanya. So Purush is always having this type of existence. Nirguna. Nirguna means gunas. We will later discuss about this guna and saguna and nirguna. Guna is the qualities of you. So Purush has one quality only, that is energy. That is dancing energy. Dancing energy is called Chaitanya. So Purush, the basic energy is always dancing energy. And it is not having, Nirguna means Sattva, Raja, Tama, three gunas are there. So Purush it is having one form only. That is Chaitanya. And Nishkriya. Purush is not having any, means Purush is ideal. He is not doing anything himself. For example, if you the petrol in any bottle, because of petrol, your car, your scooter, your bus, your rickshaw you can drive it with the help of petrol. If you put it in the bottle, so bottle must walk, no? Bottle should walk. Why this bottle is not walking? Because Purush, Nishkriya means nothing doing. He is sitting at one place. If you need it, take that Purush and use it. Put that petrol in the car. If petrol is there, car is there, then automatically car should go here and there. But it is not, it never happened like that. Why? Because if petrol is inside the car, but still it is not working. So Prakriti must ask that petrol to work. So Purush is Chaitanya, that is the outlook or that is the existence of energy. Nirguna means always it is not full with good behavior, bad behavior like that. And Nishkriya, Purush is nothing doing. But Prakriti is Jada. Jada means heavy. Prakriti is heavy in her outlook. Just now I gave you example of cars or chairs or our body. It is Jada means heavy thing. Prakriti is also always having the existence which is having movement, not having any movement without Purush, without energy. If you are not feeling energetic, you keep your body ideally like that. Oh, I can't move, I don't want to move, I don't have energy. So Prakriti is like that. Jada means not doing anything, lying down. Both the things come together. If they comes together, then your body will work properly. So this is the meaning of Jada. Then all objects made up by Prakriti are the combinations of three gunas. There are three gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama. We will see in next slides. Sankhya philosophy explains us Prakriti is full with three gunas always. Sattva gun, Rajogun and Tamogun. These are the three guna. Guna means you behave accordingly. Sattva guna is associated with the qualities like happiness. Those who are having more amount of sattva guna, that type of person, how he behaves, what is his behavior, he is always happy, always in pleasure mood, compassion, being good, illuminating, and constructive personality. These are the specialities of sattva guna, that type of person. He is always full with compassion and he behaves in this way. Constructive ideas always comes in his mind. Good chair, a chair in good condition, we will talk about that chair, that this is very nice chair, comfortable chair, like that. That is called sattva guna. Harmless thing. Sattva gun person works harmlessly. He never do bad things to other persons. So that is called sattva gun. And you can explain everything existing on this earth with the help of these three gunas. That is the principle of, or main principle of this Sankhya Darshan. Rajoguna is associated with qualities like painful life, suffering, all the time crying life, or what to say, negativity is there. Little bit negativity is there. Chaos is there all the time. Little bit jumbling in his mind and brain also. Impulsiveness. All the time, unnecessary impulsiveness is there in Rajoguna. Always running here and there unnecessarily, and nothing doing like that. Means he runs here and there, but no constructive work can come out from his practicing or his work. That way Rajogun, you can explain this guna like this. This type of personality or this type of things are there available. Then Tamogun is associated with qualities like inactivity, nothing doing, lethargy, darkness, ignorance, destruction and negativity. This type of personalities, they are called Tamogun person. All these qualities are specific. If anybody working like this, you can immediately call that person is a tamoguni person. Otherwise, wonderful person, happy person, compassion, being good to everybody, doing constructive works, you can immediately realize that this person is sattva-guni person. So this is the special thing related to this Sankhya Darshan. Now, three pramanas. In Yoga Darshan, there are also three praman. Praman means a proof. you need proof for everything. So Sankhya Darshan believe in pratyaksha, that a direct perception you need for everything. So direct perception is there. That is pratyaksha praman. You believe in that direct perception. Is that lecture is started? Yes, I saw that our lecturer is there. He has started lecture. I saw him. This is pratyaksha. That is direct perception. You feel, you saw it. That's why you can say like that. And anuman is inference. I guess, oh, that lecture might have been started. I am not sure about it. But I listened that voice. It was like our lecturer. You are not sure. That is, you are guessing. That inference is in your mind. And the third pramani is shabda or verbal testimony. You can give another, I can explain this shabda praman in another word. That is agama praman. Agama. It is not here written here, but you can write it. Agama praman. That is any respective personality. If they told you that lecture has started, you have faith in that person. You will listen him. You will follow him. That lecture has started, definitely. So verbal testimony is there. That great person is telling you. So this way we need these pramanas, means we accept this type of thinking in everyday life. We need some pramana, means you need you must feel sure about it. Otherwise you can't do. Is our lunch is ready? Somebody may tell you lunch is not ready. Oh, it is ready. I have seen it. Let's go and eat it. So you need everywhere this proof, everywhere. To do any work, you need proof. That is called praman. And these three type of pramanas are there. In Yoga Darshan also, three pramanas are. Now, three different sources of sorrow, sufferings, pain and miseries. If you understand this, you never feel misery, or you never suffer anything in your life. You will be satisfied, calm down, cool down mentality will be there. You must understand this principle. Three type of miseries are there. Adhyatmika comes from our whole own body or mind. If you are stick to your negative thinking, you will be always having sorrowful thinking in your life. And then you have to face this adhyatmika sorrows. Adhibhautika sorrows or miseries from outside oneself, but from the natural world. That is accident, stealing, snake biting. It is not under your control. You can't control these type of things in your life. That is called adhibhautik sorrows. You have to face them. This principle, this philosophy is explained in Sankhya Darshan. If you try to understand this, you can make your life happy. You will be very happy or satisfied in your own life, whole life and own life every day. What's there? We have to face this thing. You will always be positive in your life if you understand these principles or this philosophy. Then Adhidaivik, from the supernatural world, that is earthquake, heavy rain, flood, snowfall, lightning, etc. You can't control these natural things. It is not in your hand. You can't avoid this also. So you have to face this with satisfied mind. Don't lose your mood or don't increase your unsteadiness. Keep quiet like that. So that's why all these principles or philosophy is explained in all these darshanas. Different type of principles are there. So we have seen the three type of sorrows coming in our daily life or any life, human life. So how to control it? How to remove sorrows from our life? That is explained here. Kaivalya is the state where all three types of sorrows cease. If you reach in this state of mind, then you will forget all the sorrows. So, what is Kaivalya? Merely existing. No other expressions, emotions, calm down, cool down, steady mind, controlled mind is Kaivalya state. And it is beyond that. But to understand, I am explaining like this. So, Kaivalya is the state where all three types of sorrows cease. The great saint from Maharashtra, Santa Tukaram. So, what he did, he asked everybody, now goodbye, I am finishing my this life, goodbye. He was having such a nice wife, his two children were there, but still he asked everybody that I am going to my original place happily. And he was very happy and in joyful and blissful state. He was not worrying about the existing world around him. That is the state of Kaivalya. And if you reach in this state of mind, you can control the sorrows. The sorrows will be ceased. So this is the important principle or theory explained in Sankhya Darshan. So Sankhya is theoretical yoga and Patanjali yoga is practical Sankhya. So what they are explaining here, Sankhya is explaining the theory in the yoga. Yoga also agree with this principle, Purush and Prakriti, and have a real knowledge of it, the truth in the universe, try to understand that and reach in the Kaivalya state. So this is Patanjali Yoga Darshana's goal, and this is as well as this goal is explained in Sankhya Darshan also. So what is the theory of Prakriti and Purush? It is explained in Sankhya. And how to reach up to this Purush Prakriti principle and after that reach to the Kaivalya state, if you follow Patanjali Yoga Darshan, that is practical. Patanjali Yoga Darshan, the speciality of it is practical darshan. So if you follow Patanjali's eightfold yoga, Yama, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, if you follow it, you will reach to this Sankhya, last state explained in Sankhya. That is Purush Prakriti, they are different. So try to control your everything and reach in this Kaivalya state. So this is the pair of Sankhya and Patanjali Darshanas. This is one pair in Shat Darshanas. Another pair is Nyaya Darshan and Vaisheshik Darshan. Third pair is Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa. And Sankhya and Patanjali. So this way, these are all these darshana, they are going parallel to each other. Now I will proceed to this last sentence here. right knowledge, Satya Jnana, distinguishes Purush and Prakriti, which makes us free from the suffering. So, how they are related to each other, Prakriti and Purush? The real knowledge of it, that Purush is separate, Prakriti is separate. But on this earthen life, they are together, working together. We know, up till now, we know what is Purush. So, Purush is the basic energy on this earthen life. And because of this basic energy, so many lives are there enjoying on this earth. Maybe trees, maybe different type of animals, human life, so many things are there. And all these existing things on the earth, that is Prakriti. For example, we are using table, chair, clothes, all these are Prakriti. And the life in that, if the chair is good, new, you are using it. If the chair is old, it is now broken, so you are throwing it. Why it is broken? Why it is old? Old means inside basic energy is not working. So chair is Prakriti, and if the inside energy is working properly, basic energy, the soul energy is working properly, that energy you can call it is Purush. So Prakriti and Purush, they are working together. So though they are separate, though they are independent, but on this earthen life, they came together and they are working in each field, which makes us from the suffering, free from the suffering. If you want to get free from your all the miseries, pains, like that, you follow all these principles here, all these practical views explained in all these darshanas. You will get free from them. So in the next slide, we will see how they are dependent on each other. Now, I am explaining how these Prakriti and Purush are dependent on each other and how they are related together, related to each other. Relation between Prakriti and Purush is important. Prakriti can walk but can't see. Very important thing. Prakriti is blind. Prakriti is blind. And Purush is lame or cripple. Prakriti can't see. She can walk. And Purush can see but can't walk. He is lame or cripple. He can't walk. So Purush takes help of Prakriti while working in any case. Purush takes help of Prakriti while working. Prakriti can see through the eyes of Purush. She is walking blindly. But Purush is showing her the path, how to walk, where to walk, what are the obstacles there. Purush is telling her everything. And Purush can walk with the Prakriti's feet. This is very nice explanation. So Prakriti and Purush, they are dependent on each other and they are independent. Both the things are correct. You must understand this explanation. With this, I am proceeding to the next PPT, that goal of human life. Sankhya philosophy, explaining us, propounds Kaivalya or liberation from the birth, life, death, rebirth cycle as the goal of human life. We are taking birth, then we are enjoying our life, then our death is there, and again we are having rebirth. So if you want to escape from this cycle of birth, rebirth, then practice Sankhya philosophy with the help of Yoga philosophy, Yoga Darshan. It is not written here, but just now I told you. Yoga is the practical part of Sankhya Darshan. So how to overcome with this cycle and how to reach up to the Kaivalya state? In Yoga Darshan also, Kaivalya is explained. If you want to reach there, up to that level of Kaivalya, then practice all these things. Understand or try to understand all these real knowledge of the world of Prakriti and Purush. So, with this last slide, thanks. Hari Om.